Hello, my name is BJ, and I am going to give a brief overview and my interpretation of Albert Roberts' seven-stage crisis intervention model. And before we begin, we first should define what we mean by crisis. And I took the liberty of looking up in Webster's dictionary. First definition under section C talks about an emotionally significant event or radical change of status in a person's life. Um, so, um, and then after that, there's also some other descriptions of what crisis is. But that is the definition of what we're talking about when we talk about a crisis and what we're trying to develop an intervention for. Now, also, the crisis does have a model that goes with it, as laid out. I took the liberty of downloading this off the internet. Just general search, found it. But one thing I would like you to notice from the model that although it is pyramid in shape at the top, it does have two supports for the foundation. So just take a note of that. Just two supports for the foundation. In the seven stages that he has laid out for us, in the first stage is the assessment stage. And this is a gathering of as much information about what's going on in the shorter time possible. So we're looking at, is what's going on. If it's a personal crisis, is as far as suicide or domestic violence or something in the home, we're going to look at, is there a plan in action? So we're going to look at a plan and what they're telling us. We're going to look at their conduct, and we're going to assess the lethality of the situation or whatever's going on. If it would be a suicide situation, do they have a specific plan for suicide? Do they have the means, the resources? What's their general attitude? How assertive are they when they're talking about it? If it's something externally, not coming from the person, say it may be violence in the home, the threat of violence in the home, has there been a specific plan discussed? If you do this, this will happen. If I find out this, I'll be here and make this happen. So, and we want to do that so we can evaluate, immediate needs if need be. Do we need to get to them someplace safe? Do they need shelter? The basic needs, safety, shelter, food. These are the things that we find out in that initial assessment. Also, we just need to get as much information as possible at this time. And the second stage actually, is also a big part of the foundation. And this goes with establishing a rapport. I know in certain other counseling and therapy situations, we build up to this and try to do this as carefully as possible, being relatable and everything. But in a crisis situation where we're trying to intervene in something, whether it's, all the way true or perceived, we want to, jump in and develop this relationship as quickly as possible. We want the person to become safe and relatable to us, because this is a major part in helping a person through the crisis, is knowing that they have somebody to trust and count on, that can help them get through it or succeed in life, at the other end of whatever is going on. So the second stage would be, establishing that rapport. And like I said, more quickly than in the basic therapeutic or counseling, psychology, quickly, because we want to get this done. We want to get to the resolution as quickly as possible. So the third stage is the problem identification stage. Now, in this stage, there's kind of two levels that are described after researching and finding out a few things. The first thing is we want to find out what the immediate or biggest problem, the problem that brought them to us in the first place. And so we need to get that out and clearly defined as what it is. And then when we do that, we have it'll give us a better understanding of the thoughts and feelings that they're experiencing right now. And then after we find out what that major area of concern is, then we can kind of look at this time into some of the other little things, kind of the building blocks that built up to the explosion or the feeling of being overwhelmed or the threats that may be coming from inside or from without. So we want to find out what the big event is that they're actually brought us in, that they're going through right now, and then kind of the other little things that kind of led up to it. So in that be the problem identification in stage 3. Now in stage 4, we want to get them to start getting their processes going from inside. And this goes along with addressing their feelings. Not just their thoughts, because we kind of got their thoughts when we were looking at all the problems. A lot of that will come out in that particular stage. This stage, we want to kind of lead and guide them through their feelings about everything that's going on. This will give us a better understanding of what actual state that they're in. Are they rational or irrational? Find out some of the other things that may be influencing what's going on. But one thing we want to make sure to do in this stage is to validate their feelings. No matter what our thoughts and feelings are about what they're going through, they feel the way they feel. So we want to make sure that they know that it's okay to feel, and we want to get those things out so we can get them to look at themselves and kind of process, and when we're doing this, we also want to use our listening skills. Those of you that are in school kind of have a good idea, but some of the listening skills that we want to do is use probing questions to get them to dig a little deeper without us leading them, just kind of, influence them to go, kind of paraphrasing what they're talking about and giving it back to them. Sometimes this helps with bringing people kind of back down to earth, so to say. When everything is so heightened, it's kind of hard to recognize and grasp hold of what is real and what is just our perception of what's going on. But also make sure that they know that their feelings are valid. You can't tell somebody that they don't feel what they feel. So along with that, making sure that their feelings are validated, we kind of want to pay attention to some of the other things that are going on. Challenge any maladaptive beliefs that they may have. And what I mean by that is some people may be into the old doom and gloom, that God is punishing, that they've done something wrong and this is the repercussions for it, not just that life happens. So there's certain other things that may come about, but challenge them. Not to tell them that they're wrong, but kind of have them look a little deeper into what may be influencing those feelings and if they're true and accurate for what they're going through right now. So, but make sure that they know that, feeling is okay. But just kind of try to get them off of, those maladaptive beliefs, because that will hold them back from actually following through with any plan that we may be able to implement to them to get them through that crisis situation. Now, the next stage 5, is to generate and explore strategies and coping skills. Now, in this particular stage, we want to actually look at what is actually needed to get them through this crisis. Now, remember, when we're actually in crisis intervention, we are trying to get them through this immediate crisis. This isn't the stage where we're trying to dig deep and get them to work out a bunch of childhood issues. Now, that may be some of our referrals later, but at this particular point, we want to get them through what's going on with them right now, this present problem right now that's got them to this particular state where they feel the need or have been led to some sort of crisis intervention counselor. So we want to look at what they actually need to get through this particular event. There's always opportunity to get them to the next level, so to say. But once we get them through this, they're able to better manage everything that's going on. And it would also help after we get through this to know that they can find some success and get back to a better way of living. But also in this stage, we have to find out what they're willing to do. This not only has to do with their mindset, but their means. What's available to them? Do they have transportation? Certain resources that we have, we may have to check some other referrals due to what they have, what monetary resources they have. Because sometimes people come into these situations, they don't have jobs, they've lost everything, and then they've gotten to this point where they don't know what to do. So, not just willing, but able to follow through with. This plan, we have to develop something that's realistic for the person to help get them through this crisis. We can't just have the same plan for everybody. Not everybody's in the same situation. Not everybody's has the same means available to them, means and resources on their own that are available to them. So we have to see what is needed and what their willingness level is and what actually they're able to do. So that will be stage 5. Now in stage 6, this is the development of the plan of action. Now this is what's going to lead them to a resolution of the crisis at hand. Now, mind you, don't forget that we're dealing with just a crisis at hand in this particular position. We want to get them through what they're going through right now, and then maybe later on use other things to help dig a little deeper and work on some other internal issues that will maybe help strengthen them to not fall into a crisis situation later on. So we develop a plan of action, get our referrals together, give them lay out a step-by-step plan for them to follow, to make it as simple as possible for them to get the help that they need without having any hang-ups whatsoever. Can be difficult in some situations, due to what their means and resources are. But this is the time when we actually get everything down and get it laid out, speak with them about it. And the next step to that is I like always to add confidence building, reassuring the client that they can get through this. These steps are going to help them get through it, and letting them know if not, we'll figure something else out. But these steps we want to have followed to give them the best opportunity to resolve this crisis that they're in currently. And then after we get this plan implemented, the assumption is that they go out and follow these steps to get them through this crisis with our support and help, of course. But they're more than likely going to be some steps that they're going to have to take on their own, may have some help with, may have to lead them to an advocate to help be by their side and guide them through the process. But after stage 6 is when they actually implement the plan. And after the implementation, after they implement the plan to get them through their crisis, after that they find some sort of resolution or get out there and do what they need to do. Then we get to stage 7, which is the follow-up stage. Now in the follow-up stage, we basically are evaluating and looking at everything that they've done, everything that they've been through. Have they found successes? Are they having hang-ups? Have their situations changed? This is the time when we look into all that stuff. When we get them out and about, following those steps, and then get them back and take a look at what they've done. We have booster sessions with them, confidence building, reassurance, all those things. We do a progress check at this time. Have you followed through with these steps? What was the outcome? Is there anything else needed? And also in the follow-up, this is the time when we can make adjustments. Life happens, so we have to be adaptable and making adjustments to a plan. We can't be afraid to do that because maybe even our own beliefs, maybe their comfort level with the particular counselor or advocate has changed. Anything. We have to be willing to make adjustments and make sure that we have our resources and our referrals readily at hand so these things can happen and we can give these clients that are in these crisis situations the best opportunity possible to become successful and get back to a better way of living, or back to their regular life without the heightened stress of these crisis situations. So my name is BJ. I just wanted to give you my take on Albert Roberts' 7-stage crisis intervention model. Thank you for your time, and I hope it was a little helpful. I did a little research and kind of just got a better understanding for myself. Nothing too difficult, but the way this is laid out, we have a double reinforced foundation to help the crisis intervention counselor be as successful as possible with any particular client. So thank you for your time, and I'll see you later.